Well, not martial artists. Today we're watching something a little bit different in a documentary, Sunday documentary React. We're watching Addicted to Protein by BBC Newsbeat. And I don't know what BBC is trying to do here, but if you have been following this channel for quite some time now, you know that I'm a big fan of protein powder and especially also protein supplements, protein bars, whatever, just to increase that little amount of protein during your day, during your daily routine and so on. And it really makes a difference in my personal life. And I'm not sure in which direction this documentary is going to go. So maybe it's going this route down that it's going to say that, nah, don't take too much of protein because it's maybe dangerous. And this is really some old knowledge that we have. Whereas it could also be, yeah, it could make sense for some athletes, but maybe not for the general population, which I'm also not a big fan of, because I'm also thinking that the general population, which is not doing like a lot of sports like you and me watching this, and yeah, basically I think everybody should supplement a little bit of protein in their daily routine, whereas it be maybe a protein shake, maybe a protein bar, or just some other things, because it helps, really, it helps in maintaining weight, it helps with maintaining muscle, and we're gonna find out. It's just a quick one, so I would say grab yourself a coffee, make it comfortable, and we go into the reaction. Let's go. Subtitles, we have everything in place. Let's go.
I'm training to run a marathon and it's going to be tough.
Awesome.
So I need to be as fit and strong as possible. A lot of people have told me about the need to take protein supplements, not just to build up my muscle, but to help my muscles repair as quickly as they can. So
True.
do I take supplements or not?
I want to be fitter, I want to be more athletic, I want to be stronger.
By the way, this year what I'm going to be eating here during this documentary is basically low-fat curd cheese, protein powder, and creatine. And maybe I will feel bad about it in the end, but probably not.
It's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Oh yeah, it is. That sounds sick.
Anything with protein written on it will sell.
Work out, take protein, don't eat carbohydrates, you will look
No,
like
that's
an
false.
Adonis. That was my thinking.
Carbs have their place, really.
The amount of protein supplements people have been buying has been growing massively in the last few years. I get what it does, it builds and repairs muscle. But some dietitians argue that people just aren't taking it right.
Ali.
Hi there, how you doing?
Hi.
Nice to put a name to the face, how you doing?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
So how's work going for you then?
You know, the 9-to-5 life, I guess, started in September. To be honest, at the beginning it was overwhelming just going from university to working day in, day out, 9 to 5, but plenty of banter going around. So, you know, it's just a nice place to be, really.
So talk to me about what made you start wanting to bulk so quickly.
I've always thought in the back of my head that I need to put on some weight at some point, and my mum's always harking on to me. She's like, every time I go home, oh Ali, you're really thin, you're not eating, this, that. I was like, you know what, I need to put on a little bit of weight now. My friends were a big factor when it came to going to the gym, and I'd seen that they'd had some sort of good results. And they were taking protein, so for me it was like, I'm going all in. Like, I'm not just going to join the gym, I'm not just going to start running, I'm not just going to start doing, you know, 1 day of badminton a week. I'm going all in.
You bought the biggest bag possible.
Yeah, I threw the kitchen sink at
5 even.
Yeah, the biggest bag possible.
So how much protein are you taking every day?
I'm taking about sort of 50 to 60 grams or so in the morning with breakfast, just as a protein shake in the morning, and then after my workout in the evening. So basically 2 protein shakes a day, about 50 to 60 grams each, so about 100 or so grams. That's just in protein powder then. But then also what I did was I went from eating 2 to 3 meals a day to sort of 4 / sometimes even 5 meals a day.
What do we have in those meals? Okay, we don't see.
So around 120.
So here's the thing. here's the thing. Okay. When you have like a normal dude who's starting to lift and he wants to quickly bulk up, then why do you want to quickly bulk up? It's not going to be quick because you will always have a little bit of body fat. And if you do it quicker, you will have more body fat. That's just a natural process, right? So what he has been taking now, 50 to 60 grams per shake is, I would say, okay. 2 shakes a day makes 120 grams of protein. For him, he's maybe around 60, 70 kilos, as far as I would assume. So, and I always recommend you have like 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. So he is now like, so let's say he's 70 kilograms, so that would mean he should aim for about, 100, 110, 120, somewhere around there in protein, in daily protein. So that means with just the sheer amount of protein powder he consumed, he could eat just carbs, fats, and some veggies during the day. He doesn't need to have meat. So this would be perfectly for a vegan diet or a vegetarian diet, yes. But you could also do a little bit less protein, maybe then also add in some meat, add in maybe some red lentils, some beans, some good nuts for the fats. And this is also a possible way, but here really aim for about 1.5 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, and then you're pretty much good to go, I would say, really.
20 grams of protein supplements a day, costing around £60 a month. But how does he know that's the right amount for him?
I just explained it. That's what the people do in the industry, man. Science says what works best. It works for me, from my knowledge, from my experience.
You said this is, just an experiment for you. Are lots of people you know also experimenting with protein like this?
If I'm honest, I wouldn't say anyone really knows how much they should be taking. It's just word of mouth, really. You see how much your friend's taking, you'll take roughly that much. I want my mentor
experience
perception of myself to be better. People I speak to, 100 and 150 grams isn't massive. It's
not
the norm. But I know people who are taking way more.
It should be the norm.
Why are you taking so much more? And they're like, no idea. I think definitely the protein is making a difference. Like it has to be, because, well, it better be, because I paid money.
Are people needlessly just buying into a trend, or are people actually doing themselves some harm? We need a scientist.
Human physiology, okay.
What the protein is doing is when we digest and absorb it, it's broken down into its amino acids, and them amino acids will do 2 things. They'll stimulate the muscle to grow, but they'll also provide them actual building blocks to actually be incorporated in the muscle to grow new muscle tissue.
By the way, it's not just this. It's not just about the muscle. Also your cells, also your tissues in the body that need protein to build up. There are certain amino acids that do certain jobs in your body. And that's also the reason why when it's broken down that you need protein to rebuild the body. It's not just about the muscles, really, it's about the whole body. Because maybe you have heard this already, that there are 2 macronutrients that are really, really important, that are essential. So it's fats and proteins. Fat is for all what the hormones do in the body. For example, the omega-3 fats are really, really important for your brain health, because what it does in the brain is it really makes the neurons go good through the brain and sending the signals. So it actually makes you, maybe we find the documentary later that you can watch it as well. It actually makes you like a little bit dumber when you don't have enough omega-3, because the neurons are not transported as fast in your brain as they could. So you're leaving out potential. If that is none of your business, or if you don't care, then that's fine. But if you care about, then look into this. And it's the same with protein. When you don't have enough protein, maybe your body doesn't work as he could or she could, depending on how your body is like treated, if it's a he or a she, so to speak. And if you don't care in your daily job or in the daily life that you work properly and optimally, then don't care about supplementation. But if it is important to you, if your body health is important to you, then look into this. And that's what we're doing here on this channel with this documentary, right? Let's go.
I know that as an athlete or anyone involved in training, we probably need a little bit more protein than a regular person.
Yeah, true.
The best way, in my opinion, to do this is buy food, but the supplements can be a convenience if you're not able to do it.
It's so convenient, and it's sometimes even cheaper.
It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and because of that, a lot of people are being advised...
Sorry, need to interrupt here again. Think about this. A protein, 1 kilogram of protein, what does it cost? Maybe $30, $30, somewhere around there, depending on the brand that you buy. And you have like 1 scoop of protein is like 30 grams, and then you have maybe 25 grams of pure protein in it. And it's maybe about something less than, what do we say? Something less than $1 or so with this 1 scoop. We have 30 grams of protein, or protein powder for, or 25 grams of protein for a little bit less than $1. And if you have something like chicken, which is a really good protein, then you buy usually a lot more for just 30 grams. You need 100 grams of chicken for like 20 to 21 grams of protein. What does maybe 200 to 300 grams of chicken cost in the local supermarket? Here, in my experience in Switzerland, it's about, sometimes it depends where you go, I would say $5 to up to $15 when you really go for the free range, whatever kind of bio, green, whatever good stuff. So it really is also a cheaper way, but it's in the heads of the people. It's I'm taking up powder. That's gonna be dangerous. That's gonna be some juice. That's gonna be really steroids, and it's really not. And I think we should be, by now in 2023, we should be way ahead of this. But the general population isn't, because they're not used to getting their head around those kind of things.
To take it, not because we need it, but because there's a fast buck to be made upon it. And just because you've got a celebrity who may have lost a little bit of weight or gained a bit of muscle mass, this doesn't suddenly turn them into an expert. They may have got rid of a cold, but they're not a doctor.
True.
So these celebrities often try and push it for an ulterior motive. And my concern is initially that we're taking away hard-earned money from people and wasting the money.
We've brought Ali to Liverpool to see if his supplement regime is working.
Well, that may
so
be
we're putting
biased.
him on something called a DEXA scanner, which counts how much of Ali's body is muscle.
Yeah, it's like a body composition scan.
4.1.
And you can determine how many percentages you have in body fat, in muscle tissue, and so on. It's a pretty good one. It's better than the normal scales in the fitness, in the gyms.
This is going to measure your resting metabolic rate, so we can calculate your energy expenditure. The world of a selfie,
Now Ali's going to go cold turkey on protein supplements for 6 weeks. Instead, Professor Close has asked him to eat a similar amount of food, but crucially, spread out throughout the day.
People think that you can take a protein supplement and suddenly you'll look like this competition bodybuilder or this men's health cover model. Couldn't be further from the truth. To get that increase in muscle mass involves
you need to
really
get down these
training,
weights.
consistent training, a really good diet.
That's what I'm going to do later.
And thinking that you're going to do it from a supplement, you're just kidding yourself.
Meanwhile, across the other side of Liverpool,
nothing wrong with
we're
this,
in a body pump class to chat with some women.
I mean, what people don't get is that they go in with this false perception of a protein supplement. They think, they see, Chris Hemsworth maybe oh man, he's looking amazing. I want to look like him. He's taking all these protein supplements. I'm doing his training. I will look like him. But what the people don't see, man, in Hollywood, people are on juice because they need to get in shape for day X. It's like bodybuilding, because on day X they are going to start to film. It is really this. And if you don't have the proper training, if you don't have the nutrition, and if you don't have then this extra amount of protein, you will never build muscle, never. Because where does the body take it from? It takes it from protein, as we heard before. And then if you also have a little bit above maintenance calories, then it can build up the muscles. If you don't eat enough, you will not build muscle. Not in the long run. Not in the long run. No, never.
Popular protein supplements are with them.
Yeah, it's good. Shoulder press.
It seems to be really common now. More and more people, more and more women taking protein supplements. Have you guys noticed that?
Yeah,
big fan
everywhere.
of.
Everywhere that you look, and even if you walk around the gym, you can see the vending machine downstairs that has like ready-made protein shakes for you to take. Yeah, people take them all
of like everyday products that they're putting added protein into now, like protein Weetabix and protein pasta. I just think it's a trendy thing to try and push extra protein.
This kind of training, man, I can't get my head around.
Yeah, definitely, it's everywhere. Like on Instagram, even on the ads, like it's all about protein. And it's just, I think it's a bit ridiculous because I don't think you should have added supplements in your diet, but I think if you do go to the gym a lot, you will need it. But I don't think you should have it as like a supplement for something else.
Yeah,
like,
use it as a supplement, not a replacement.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I think a lot of the time it's a case of like all the gear and no idea. they buy these shakes, they drink them, and they have no idea why, but they think it's a great idea.
Yeah, they think that's going to end up the place where they want to be.
I will be a god.
Take loads of protein.
By the way, if you want to have a video where someone explains to you in basic terms, I will link your video up somewhere here, where we talk exactly about this, where I show you what's about with protein, where does it come from, how are the different stages of like the production, and just everything that you need to know for starters. I will link you that here. You can watch this after this one.
Ellie's taken us training near Liverpool's waterfront.
My goodness.
My average week, like I might do some boxing, I might do some body pump, maybe
Hands up.
spin, maybe go for a run in the sun, and then I'll always make sure I have like one rest day so that I can like repair. I think people are just getting on the protein trend, and then it'll be something else next week or something.
So you think it's almost like a...
Is this really a case?
Yeah, I think
really?
it is fashion, definitely. It's because everything's got protein in it now, like protein cookies, protein pancakes, like everything that's seen as bad.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
It's got protein in it, so it's seen as better because it's got protein in it. But I don't know why, but...
What type of stuff have you seen on Instagram of celebrities, you know, pushing protein? What have you seen?
Well, I've just seen like loads of celebrities posting pictures with like protein shakes and being like, oh, this is the new protein that I use, like, and then post like the link to it and then like a discount or something, so it makes you want to get it more because there's a discount. I think that women do feel the pressure more because people like post things like with unrealistic expectations.
Sun came up, bunch.
Girls who are quite vulnerable to them and then kind of like assume, oh, I need to be like that. But I've got a good head and I'm not like trapped in a false reality, so I know like what's real and what's not. Just because a celebrity is saying do something doesn't mean you should do it. So I kind of...
That's true. But I also have a code down below, or not a code, but a link to my protein that I use, or sometimes use. And I will get a little commission of that if you are interested in supporting the channel. It's in here right now. Oh, interesting. An entrepreneur working with protein.
Trevor runs one of the UK's largest protein companies.
My protein.
I can remember being in college and always looking around.
My protein is from the UK.
Sports nutrition website to get
use them also in this story.
To take myself for the cheapest possible prices.
Yeah, it's going to be my protein.
When I did that, the lads in the rugby team got onto it too, so they'd be asking me to get them their protein. Then the PE teachers in school would be asking me to get them. When I went to university, I had rugby teams from both the Red Brick University and John Moores asking me to get their protein too, and it just grew and grew and grew. I'd like to say we're the biggest retailer in the northwest of England.
Okay, no, it's not my protein, sorry. It's a retailer.
You're one of the country's protein kings, then?
It's not a manufacturer.
I'd never refer to myself as that, though. But you know, we do sell quite a few tubs or two, yeah.
What are the main problems you see, mistakes do you see out of how people take protein?
We always recommend protein. And everything I sell, there's supplements to a diet, they're not an existing diet. Protein is there to supplement your diet, not be a base of a diet. It's when you...
A protein supplement, yes.
With no other foods.
Protein should be a base of your diet.
Example, that's when you can encounter problems.
But do you feel bad selling it to them when you know so many of them are taking it incorrectly?
We can...
that's not his fault.
We can advise the best way we can. I actually believe this industry should be regulated a lot more. I believe people should have qualifications. There's no point taking sports nutrition or protein supplements if you can't, if your diet isn't on point first. If you think of it like a pyramid, diet, training, then your supplements and sports nutrition, whereas some people have that the wrong way around, unfortunately.
I am a little bit on another end here, and I'll explain you why. Because protein supplement can be the base of your nutrition, because as I said, the base should be the base of your nutrition should be protein and fats, because those things are essential. Those two macronutrients are essential. And then the carbs you can adjust according to your expenditure. So if you do a lot of sports, then you need obviously a lot of energy, and carbohydrates really are like the source of energy for the body. You can also go like the ketogenic way, where you basically then take it from the fats, from the ketosis. But for most people, it would be like this: fats, protein, that's the base, and then on top the carbs according to your expenditure. So if you do a lot of sports, then you do more carbs. If you don't do a lot of sports, then you don't deserve a lot of carbs. That's basically how it is, and I say it this drastically. Yes, a protein powder can now come in handy and be a part of this. It shouldn't be like you just taking protein powder, but really in the morning having like the coffee, a protein coffee, mix it a little bit with chocolate. That's what I like to do. Really can be a base, and it's a habit of myself that I'm eating every evening something like this, and it is with protein powder. It's both low-fat goat cheese, a little bit with berries sometimes for the healthful aspect, and really this is a habit, and this is a base now. So the protein has come into like my daily meal routine. It is, and it is really. I really benefit from this. Really, when I see my body, how it changed from being overweight, 120 kilo of fat and shitty, and really not happy with my body, to what I look now, what I can do now, what kind of like things I achieved. Really, if you don't want to do this, yeah, okay, then maybe you stay where you are.
Bag possible.
Yep.
But because there's a fast book,
This industry should be regulated a lot.
Health problems.
We were somewhere
Never
here.
before 26 until race day. And also to take one of these, a protein shake, to help your muscles recover as soon as you finish training. Right now, I'm up to 16 or 17 miles compared to the 2 or 3 that I started out with. But how much of this is too much? And can it be dangerous?
You will see why it's dangerous, because you will not like it anymore.
Have you heard
I've been
about
always.
anyone
I've
who's
also been up
had
to like
any
2.5
really bad
grams.
side effects or health problems through taking too much protein?
Too much? Personally, no. But when I used to do my studies with nutrition, it can be possible to have an effect on the kidneys, but it's very rare that you hear about it. I also think it's down to the person and how they
Never heard about it.
metabolize the protein. So, I mean, everyone's made up differently. You know, you might be able to digest it a lot better than I can. But I think you have to listen to your body while you're taking it. If you respond well, then carry on. If you don't, then you know you will get if you know something's wrong, you're going to go to the doctor, aren't you? And they're going to test. So, but personally, I have never known it to happen. So,
would you say that the people
you would need ridiculous amounts of protein, and really that's not then 1 or 2 or 3 shakes a day. That's 10 shakes a day, and you eat normally. Really, that you go over like the 3 to 4 grams per kilogram of body weight of protein mark, really. So don't get your head around this, or that's so rare. That's really something from the old days when the bodybuilders started to taking this crazy white powders, and it was all clumpy up, and the people thought, oh man, that's juice, that's steroids, they're gonna hurt their kidneys or something like this. No, not really.
people in this gym most of them take some form of protein?
yeah, I would say about 95%. You do get the odd one who's a bit skeptical about it, but you know, once they see other people taking it, they take it as well. So.
Do you take protein?
I do, yes. I definitely recommend if you weight train.
It's so strange. Do you take it? Do you take it? Really? Do you do it?
The gym's kind of business model is based on shifting supplements as well. Is it a big bit?
I would say so, about 60% of it.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd say so. It works hand in hand. It's like, you know, gym protein, it goes together.
Sure.
It does, yeah. It's a big industry. Anything with protein written on it will sell.
Although it's pretty difficult to cause major health problems by taking too much synthetic protein, we've come to the gym to meet one man who took it to the extreme. Joe?
Hello, mate.
Hi, mate.
Yeah, good to
see
see
you. All right? A couple of years ago, you wanted to get big.
Yeah, so, I mean, the thing was that I'd always been, I suppose, fairly lean, and I wanted to put on a lot of muscle. Like you see these guys.
Then you need to eat a lot.
And you read the fitness magazines, and it says, okay, the thing I need to do is take loads of protein supplements. So that's what I started doing.
No,
basically
you need to take a lot of protein
in my daily diet to probably about 250 grams a day. Now I think you're recommended to take about 45 grams, 50 grams a day for an adult male, and I thought that that would translate into muscle.
What was that?
Probably about 250 grams a day. Now I think you're recommended to take about 45 grams, 50 grams a day for an adult male, and I thought that that would translate into muscle.
Okay, this can't be true. 55 to 40 grams is ridiculously low. That's on the stage low that you don't, if you go any lower, you're gonna have some significant drawbacks. Really. When you say this in a documentary from the BBC, as I said, look at all the people who have results in the gym. Look at the people who have results that work with clients and their clients have results in the gym. None of them is taking like 50 grams of protein a day. No, never. It's always 1.5 grams and a little bit above, maybe 1.6 grams is okay, I would say. If you go higher, 2 grams like I did, or as a lot of other fitness people do, you're not going to have the drawback. You'll be more satiated. That means you don't eat that much because protein has a really high thermogenic effect when it's digested. So your body needs a lot of energy to digest, which is also expenditure. And it's lowest with, I think, carbs, and fats is somewhere in between, but it's also not really high. Or vice versa, maybe. Can't remember on the top of my head here in the reaction. But really, that's, man, no. Goulash.
The thing is, because this is what it tells you, I suppose, in fitness magazines and stuff like that, protein, 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 protein. Then one day last year, woke up in the morning and couldn't stand up straight. Just had this like crippling pain in my side. Literally bent double all day, and the pain was just increasing all day. Got the train home, went straight to the emergency room, spent a few hours there in and out with doctors. They scanned me and told me that I had kidney stones. So I was 28 at the time, and that's not usual. Your body can only process
the friend that had kidney stones with 24.
One thing. So when you put too much into it, your body needs to get rid of it, or in my case, is unable to get rid of it.
At the time when you were taking up to...
But that is maybe a problem of the individual. If you can't get rid of it, then maybe that's just his special case. So this is not an argument for not taking a little bit more protein in your diet, because it's really, as they said, it is an extreme, and it's framing the whole documentary completely, really. And I don't think that's a good thing, but because I said it in the beginning, I think maybe it's going to be in this direction, that it's not a good idea to have more protein in the diet. It's going to be framed like this, but really, this is an extreme case. Really, it's an extreme case. It's framing the documentary, and we should see this, because everything what they're now saying is under this frame, and we need to take a closer look what they're saying now, okay?
200 grams of protein supplements a day.
The 200 grams of supplements, but 200 grams of protein. For me, I'm 90 kilos.
To the substance of sort of powdered protein, definitely addicted to the idea. I zealously thought,
I get that, yeah.
I absolutely religiously thought that work out, take protein, don't eat carbohydrates, you will look like an Adonis. That was my thinking, and I ignored everything everyone else was saying to me. My mum,
yeah,
my
okay,
mates,
that's
people down
dumb.
the gym, I just thought, you don't know what you're talking about.
When you go to the gym, you need carbohydrates, or you're going the ketosis way, then you have more fat.
Got a protein shake in your hand?
It's part of the culture. Like going to the gym and training and working out and thinking, yeah, I'm going to put on muscle, yeah, I'm going to cut down, or what, depending on the time of year it is. It's part of my life.
What amazed me about meeting Joe is that despite all the hospital problems, the kidney stones, the sickness, he's still taking protein. He literally can't get away from the supplements.
He's saying that it's like that addictive? Really? Do you want to frame it like this, that protein is like addictive as a drug, like cocaine, crack? What he said is, oh, despite the fact that he was in hospital and had all these health problems, he had kidney stones, he can't get rid of it. I mean, what do we need to say? BBC maybe... no, come on. Sorry, that's just plain and simple. That's wrong. It's just wrong. Oh, dear.
I actually don't think many people would harm themselves by taking too much protein. We have actually got quite a wide margin for error. I actually think the amount you would need to cause kidney problems is probably far in excess of what even most gym goers would be taking.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you for clarifying it.
You really do need to be big. Say, a professional bodybuilder, for example.
Yeah, man, that's something real, because then protein is not the most harmful thing they take.
Scott?
Yes, mate.
Hi, mate. Rick. Good to meet you.
You too, mate. Well, this is my off-season or bulking, depending if you're competing or not. So, basically just the time
that's nice.
Try and put as much size on as possible.
Right, so talk me through how you're building up your size, because talk me through the numbers of protein a day. That
so
probably not 50 grams.
Like I said, my food intake. So at the moment, I'm probably on
5.
About 5,000 to 6,000 calories a day.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, okay.
500 to 600 grams of carbs a day, about 250 to 300 grams of protein. It's quite a lot of food you've got to get in to put the size on.
So, 300 grams of protein.
Yeah.
How much of that's coming through supplements?
I say the majority of it's through food, but obviously, like I said, with the amount of food I've got to get in, it's not really possible to get that in without using supplements. So I do use quite a lot of protein powders and mass gainers and stuff like that. So I'd say about 150 grams, maybe a bit more, depending if I'm
maybe 3 shakes,
I'll have an
4
extra
shakes
shake on top of what I've already planned and stuff like that. So maybe about 150 grams through supplements.
So that's quite a lot of protein. Do you feel as if you need to take that to be able to do your job?
Yeah, I mean, especially, like I said, I'm at the extreme end with the bodybuilding side, so I really need, and
that's the other extreme then.
I need that extra protein. Alongside
it's not what the general
as well,
population needs.
I don't always get the chance to sit down and have a meal, so it's a lot easier for me to go back there, or if I'm at home, just make a shake, get that down me and carry on with my day.
So what is your daily protein regime then?
I can show you if you like.
Having everything in the trunk, yeah? Yeah, buddy.
Who does all this for you?
My girlfriend, to be fair, she does pretty much all my food prep and my protein shakes. Unless I'm not with her, but yeah, she does pretty much everything.
Okay, talk me through your kind of daily
okay, man, you
routine.
can do this on your own, come on. You're not a baby.
In the morning when I get up, I'll do my shake before I go. Obviously he has the first one with his porridge and stuff and his oats, so that'll already be weighed out for him. And depending on what time he's got a client, I'll probably do a shake before I leave for work, which will be his first mascara to have with his first meal.
How much of your time do you spend making protein shakes and drinks and meals?
Well, I don't know. Normally I get home from work, or we'll go to the gym, I'll train, I'll do the last shake after he trains, come home, and then I'll do meal prep for the following day.
Why doesn't Scott make his own protein shakes?
Because he's lazy. No, I'm joking. I like to do it. I support him in his goal, and his long-term goal is that he wants to get on stage, he wants to look good, and he wants to compete, and he wants to win. He doesn't want to come second place. So by getting the meals in, by getting the protein in, I help him get to where he wants to be. And that's me supporting him in what he does, so that's why he doesn't manage himself. And because he is lazy as well. Am I allowed to smile? You can do whatever you want. Okay, I'll smile then. Oh, that's fine then. I thought I wasn't allowed to smile, then that's fine.
So I think we've seen that shakes, bars and supplements can work. It's just you've got to use them alongside the right food as well. And somewhere that's renowned for its food-first approach and absolutely nailing it are these guys here at England Rugby.
That's a trick of the camera that you know where you have that in the edit, the audio spike where you know where to make the cut. Doing that myself.
You guys are massive. You must take loads of supplements, don't you?
No, not quite. Always food first.
Yeah?
Yeah, after training, we sort of have a policy at England that always food before the protein shakes. So we try and stay away from the supplements and we get the naturals in first.
But I've just been eating with you guys. You've got a chef. How can the average
Sorry,
person...
here. Always get the natural thing first. And I'm going to change this up again. Always the natural thing first. So what is unnatural at a protein powder? The form. It's a powder. That is maybe unnatural. But where does it come from? Really, I'll link you the video up here in the card where this protein powder came from. It's basically whey from the milk. And you separate it in the process of making the milk. You have the casein and the whey. You separate that and you make then the protein powder. The whey protein is basically the whey of the milk. That's where it's got its name from. And on the other side, you have the casein, which is a little bit more slowly digested. Basically something like I had here with the low-fat curd cheese. It's basically the basis or the foundation for cheese. That's good for the night. So you have a slow digestion over the night. And really, it's what maybe is artificial is the sweeteners and the flavors in it, yes. But man, you also have in the processed food. So a protein powder is nothing unnatural. And people think that because of the form powder, it is unnatural. But it really is not when you know where it's coming from, right? God damn it.
Actually get that type of protein into them.
Sure, so I think the main thing to focus on is just being prepared. So we have to cook for ourselves in the evening.
Absolutely agree. Yeah. You have to be prepared that you don't have these cravings and don't need to go to the bakery. Get yourself a croissant.
We choose what we want to eat. We try and get a lot of colours in our food. So
in
the lunch we'll say
thank you.
Sort of rainbows. So we're looking at peppers like spinach, just getting lots of different colours in our meals.
Yes. Man knows his stuff.
Focus on the food first approach, but then we do have certain basic supplementation that we'd use, but that would be secondary in nature and is on a convenience measure over.
I wonder what happens when I find out that creatine exists.
We're on the road, we're a travelling team, and we're in Hong Kong, and it's not quite the foods that we need or that we're used to. We will look to supplement at appropriate times post-exercise to get the recovery and the replenishments that we need in our guides.
It's interesting, isn't it, how like the supplement branding tends to drag people into it, and the food kind of gets left on the wayside.
Yeah, it does, and I think it's false in nature. You know, the best thing people can do is plan their foods, plan their meals, but that's arduous if you're not used to it. And with today's world and the way we work and everything is looking for time efficiency in what they do, it's often the thing that gets looked away from.
After 6 weeks off the protein supplements, it was time to head back to Liverpool to get Ali's results. Would he have lost muscle mass from not taking any supplements and still working out, but spreading his meals throughout?
Let's guess together in the comments. Okay. He has been taking protein, he has been working out, and then on a rough cut, on a cold turkey, he stopped taking protein. But I think he maintained his training, his weights training. So what I think is going to happen, or in his DEXA scan, he will have a little bit less of muscle tissue, because when he maintained his weights training program, he will not have put that much of body fat, because I think the daily expenditure was pretty the same. So the doctor told him to eat the same, but we don't have now the protein. So he should have been at a little bit lesser calorie level. That means he maybe even he even lost some pounds because he has taken theoretically less food. Maybe he overcompensated it by eating more because he had a less of protein. Because as I said, it's the most satiating food. So unconsciously, you could have eaten more without knowing it. But I'm pretty sure that his his muscle tissue is not going to look as good as before when he was taking protein. Maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe, what was it, 6 months, 6 weeks? It's just a too short amount of period. And maybe it's also not that significant. Let's find out. It's going to be interesting, really.
Throughout the day.
We've got the results. And what we've seen is that in this 6-week period,
6
you've
weeks,
actually increased your lean muscle mass by 1 kilo.
I was thinking, you know what, my weight's going to be the same, it's probably gone down. I go there and I put on an extra kilogram, so I was genuinely speechless.
One of the key things you wanted to do is get more muscle, and just by switching, taking away the protein shakes and getting you to eat protein in a much better manner, so eating it regularly throughout the day, using a food-first approach, you've got that result that you're looking for.
I didn't expect I'd get results like this, just eating food and trying to arrange all the meals myself.
One of the reasons that people go on a high protein diet is to increase the metabolic rate, so actually they'll be burning more calories at rest. So we wanted to make sure that switching you away from protein shakes to food didn't reduce that metabolic rate, and it didn't. It actually increased it by 100 kilocalories per day.
Oh,
so
yeah, that's true. Yeah, totally, because, man, as the bodybuilder said, when you have something or when you have to eat so much food, then you take it in a liquid level because it is easier to just bring it down into the stomach. When you eat it, you have all the chewing, you have then the digestion, the body needs to decompose the food, which all is energy, man. It's all energy, and this is this 100 kilocalories per day that we have more because he has eaten more and drank less of the protein. Yeah, that's for sure. But what we need also to know here is if his total protein stayed the same. Because if not, then I would wonder if that's just a coincidence, maybe. What was his trainings regime? Did he change something? How much did he train? Was there maybe something else? We need to monitor all these things for make a good argument for saying, yeah, man, the supplement doesn't work like this, because that's what basically the findings. So don't use the supplements. If you just have like the food, then it can make sense. If you have the same, really the same protein amount. Yes.
Any typical day, you're going to be burning more energy, and long-term that should help to drive them changes in body composition that you're looking for. I think as a food champion, so somebody who promotes a food first, I am quietly happy that we've shown you can get them gains in muscle that young people are looking for without having to rely on what can be quite expensive supplements.
So Ali's actually gained a kilogram of muscle by coming off the supplements and working a better diet.
But for sure, it would have been crazy if the results would have been the other way, because it would like totally rip off the documentary.
Yes. But why? There's a few reasons really. So number one, it's a lot easier to cook, you know, a few meals a day and then have protein in between, then cook 5 meals a day. I just don't have the time for it with a full-time job. And secondly, obviously, there's no really proven health risks with using it, especially in moderate amounts if you're using it right, like Graham taught me at John Moore's.
For most people, taking protein supplements like this isn't going to do them any harm, but it's clear many are taking it as a substitute and not a supplement to food. And if you're taking too much, or you're not taking it at the right time, you're probably just wasting your money.
Are you wasting your money? Yeah, maybe if you take it too far, yes, but I don't think it's a waste. I think it's more an investment. And because a lot of people nowadays don't really have this good of a diet. It's coming with the trend, yes. But really it's like a first step in my opinion. And really, I'm gonna link you the video here on the end card. Protein explained. I'm also gonna link you the creatine video if you are interested in further knowledge about supplementation and nutrition and so on, and how you can level up really your martial arts, your fitness game and so on. And this is gonna be here on the other side. And man, I think I need to go to train now. That's why I'm ending the video. I'm gonna do some squats, gonna do some shoulder press, some deadlift, and I, for fucking sake, sure that I'm gonna have a protein shake after. See ya.